top
Yeah,
five,
cool.
crudlifewebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Today we got Binbag Wisdom. And of Binbag Wisdom, we have
Hello, it's MC Binbags here.
MC Binbag, aka Jake. So you guys might have seen my Binbag Wisdom CRUD Life review that I did on my channel. And I'll just kind of give a little bit of backstory of how I even found that project and how we even came here on Zoom today on this cloudy day in Southern California. So I was just searching Bandcamp like I usually do. Been using Bandcamp for 10 years. It's such a great website just as a listener to find music. And I'm sure as an artist, it provides so many resources for you to get off your music, your merch, multiple file downloads, pay, what is that feature called? Name your price for customers so they can pay what they want. It's a lot of good features. So if you guys don't use Bandcamp, you guys artists or just listeners, definitely check it out. I was on Bandcamp just searching for new music, and I came across this pink album cover, and it said CRUD Life. So it, like when I'm scrolling down, I'm like on page 5 or 6 at this point of hip hop releases, and it just stood out. So very good. Did you do that cover, or was that your idea?
It was kind of my idea, but the artist is a guy, really talented guy who goes by Art But Not Really. Chris Lambon, he's called, and he did that font for us, that like kind of grotesque body part font. And then we were trying to figure out what to do with that font for the longest time, and I was like, let's just put it on like a real nice color and just keep it really simple,
Yeah, for me, as someone who listens to a lot of music, when I'm scrolling down and seeing like all these albums, page one, like that stood out. Then I clicked on the link.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I clicked on a link, and then it was just very well laid out. So page is well put together. You have vinyl records, you have the digital album. I think you had a CD. I think you have a CD.
Not yet. No CDs on CRUD Life yet. Maybe
none yet. Yeah, none yet. So yeah, that's how I found it. So, and then when I listened to the album, you guys can go see my real first reaction. It's on my channel. It was a very natural reaction. First thing I thought is, wow. Number one, this music is very cinematic. Sounds very cinematic to me, and there's a lot going on, like instrumentation wise. So I just want to ask, my first question, Binbag Wisdom, is that a group, or is it just you as an MC, your MC Binbag? So is it a group? And if so, who's in the group and how many people are in the group?
Yeah, man. It's a group. We're a 4-piece. So we got electric guitar and vocals. That's what I do. Drummer. He's another sick MC as well by the name DeBrain, and he raps it in our live shows. There's none of his bars on the CRUD Life album, but on some of our other releases. And then we got electric bass, Chris Jeffries, and on the clarinet is Risha Flint, and that's it. That's the whole lineup. But with the album, we have a real good friend of ours who's done all the production and all the edits on the album, called Rue Lima. And he is next level, man. Like the reason it sounds so cinematic and so polished is because he is genius. The whole thing, like he puts so much into this album that like we're totally blessed to be able to work with him, really.
Yeah, it sounds.
So it's a 4-piece, but the producer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, a 4-piece plus one. So yeah, it sounds, man, the sound quality, it sounds like CDQ, like CD quality. So very good job on that part. That's the first thing that stood out. And again, being on Bandcamp, not every artist has these resources or certain resources. So everyone's music is going to sound different, and some people mix it intentionally to sound subdued or whatever the case may be. This sounds like very like professional quality. So I went to search the group, and I thought I saw a couple of projects, but it sounds like this is a polished group already. And I think I said that in the review, like it sounds very polished. So the name Binbag Wisdom. Now I tried to do a little research myself. I searched Binbag. I think that's just a colloquialism difference. Bin, I think is what trash can, is that how you all say
it's like a trash sack. I guess you would call it a trash sack. You have those big black bags that you put all your trash in.
Yeah, we just call it a garbage bag. So yeah, I got that part. So Binbag Wisdom. So is that like trash wisdom? Can you explain that? Okay.
Well, I mean, when I started out MCing, I guess this is like 10 years ago or so, I started thinking about, because I used to sing in like a reggae band before this project. And
okay. So that's okay.
Yeah, I heard you talking about But when I started MCing, I just thought, you know, there's a lot of swagger and braggadocio in hip hop music and MCs in general, and I just thought, you know, that's not who I am as a person. I'm not like, yeah, I'm the greatest guy of all time. Like I don't I don't really operate like that. So I thought I didn't want to come up with a name that was too slick, and I thought the bin bags was just a funny thing to call yourself. It's kind of self-deprecating, and it's kind of like, yeah, you know, it's throwaway. I don't think I'm super important because I'm the MC. So MC bin bags, and then when the group was started originally, myself and Durbrain, the other MC and the drummer, we went to New Zealand together. We got a one-way ticket to New Zealand just to see what was going on over there, really. And we took a guitar and a cajon over, like a little box drum, and his name is Jack Wisdom. So it was literally just bin bags and wisdom. That was like how the name came together.
How long did you all stay out there in New Zealand with a one-way ticket?
Yeah, well, he was there for 6 months, and I actually ended up staying there for 2 years. So I was living out in Wellington, New Zealand, for a couple of years, and just seeing what it was all about over there, really.
How was that? How was that?
Yeah, man, it's sick. It's such a great place to be. I miss it so much all the time, you know. But I mean, especially at the moment, like the way the world has been this last year, like New Zealand is on point, you know, and it makes me so jealous that that I'm stuck in the UK where we're handling things very badly.
I mean, I'm in America, so. So we said self-deprecating. We'll stay on that theme there. So CRUD life, is that self-deprecating as well? What does that mean? Because to me, before you say what it actually is, to me, and if you came up with that term, the album seemed to revolve around like love lost, kind of like unfulfillment. And then I'm just noticed you mentioned, like, as an MC, lukewarmness or tepidness. You mentioned that like at least 2 or 3 times in the album. And I kind of, the way you mentioned it, the context in which you mentioned it, it just kind of seemed like battling with indecisiveness. So does that at all play into what CRUD life means?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the way I would describe the themes of the album, I would say you're totally right. Like love lost and like uncertainty in love and uncertainty in my career and who I am and how I define myself. Like this whole idea of underemployment as an artist, obviously, is like it's hard. It's a struggle basically to make rent. And the other thing that was really important to me while I was writing this was communicating with people and like learning to say what was on my mind and learning to say what I truly felt, like the actual truth I was holding inside myself. Getting that out was something that, you know, it was such a huge journey for me. So I guess this idea of like lukewarm tepidness, like unfulfillment, like half finished, half expressed, half employed, like half achieved love, all of these things like life is crud, man. Like I was going to call the album Life Sucks. That was like the original idea for it, basically. So we called it CRUD Life, and it is that. It's just like, you know, it's not me saying like, oh, life is so hard, please pity me. It's just saying, yeah, life is shit sometimes. And that's just the way it is, you know, and like those are the struggles you come up against and you have to deal with that.
Yeah, and I think because the album kind of revolves around that theme, there's a lot of substance in the lyrics. So I think your lyrics here are very conscious. Like you struck me as a very like conscious person and conscious MC. Like bar for bar, like each bar has something in it. Like it doesn't feel like many filler bars. And then one of my favorite bars, you said, forced to support big businesses, built pyramids. So there's just a lot of stuff just in that right there. Forced to support big businesses, like having to participate in the system, but then still being conscious of what you're participating in. And then also those are like so many separate realms of consciousness. It's like, it was just very impressive to me.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's something that's always moved me, is this feeling of like just being right at the bottom, you know, and like just having to grind and having to have these minimum wage jobs and these jobs that make rich people richer, and there's no way out of that, you know. And you know, not to relate the struggles I go through in too much with people that have obviously struggled a lot more, but it just struck me as like things haven't changed that much, even though we've come on so much further really, but like if you go all the way back to like this whole, you know, these whole civilizations of like slave civilizations in Egypt and stuff, where they were just forced to build pyramids for other people.
Right.
It's kind of like there's some parallels there. Like obviously there's the struggle, like look at where I live, it's fine, I'm not a slave by any means, like it's nice here, but I think there's still parallels where it's like we're stuck in this system that doesn't benefit us.
Right.
And that's something that speaks to me a lot, I think.
Yeah, that's the rat race. That's just being in that circle. And I think you said that on the album, living life in a ellipses.
Yeah.
If I'm misquoting it, it's like rat race is a circle. So
it just carries on. Yeah, it just carries on, man. There's no end in sight.
And I like that vocabulary, the choice of ellipses. Like it's, again, when I hear rap songs and I hear words that I don't hear a lot, I just really like that. So anyway, you spoke about your accent earlier, or you spoke about being in a reggae band. So to me, that makes sense because I'm listening to you and I'm like, all right. So I have a lot of friends who live overseas and I'm like, okay, I see you're from UK. I saw that on your Bandcamp. But I'm listening and I'm like, is this guy Jamaican? But I'm like, I don't know. Because sometimes I kind of confuse even the Nigerian accent for the UK accent. They just kind of have like a similar rhythm with how they speak to me.
Yeah, man.
Like,
and
it sounds a little like islandy, but then you said you used to sing in a reggae band. So I'm like,
yeah,
there
I think
it is.
that's like where I learned. That's where I learned to sing really. And like I grew up, and my mum listened to heaps of like two-tone music and ska music and reggae music, and you know I was huge into Bob Marley when I was like real small. And I think that was the stuff that first excited my ears, and like Trojan Records, everything that was coming out on Trojan Records when I was a teenager was like, okay, shit, this speaks to me, man. So like we used to do covers of that, and we used to play that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't hear it myself anymore, but undoubtedly I've picked up these rhythms and these melodies and these twangs that come from that kind of culture as well. I mean, that's a nice thing. I like it, you know. I think it sounds good anyway.
It sounds good over a beat, like in a rap song. Like it sounds natural. It doesn't sound like you're trying to. And I was excited to hear you speak because I'm like, does he speak like this? But then I see you're putting it in, and certain rappers do that. Like I mentioned in the review, Drake sometimes throws on certain accents to fit certain beats that he's on.
Sure.
So it sounds natural. Like you got it to a point to where it doesn't sound out of place. So.
Thanks.
I wanted to talk about the production also. So who produced the album? I think you might have mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, Rue Lima is his name.
Yeah, Rue Lima. Okay.
AAA quality, man. He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, I really like the production. So Rue, if you're watching, there were just for a rap album, for a hip hop album, there are so many different live instruments going on, and they all sound mixed so intentionally. And to be able to arrange all those, I know there wasn't many loops on the beats. Kind of seemed to build out. I'm not even sure if it was looped at all. It might have been like, I don't know.
There was like little bits of additional production on the beats, but really like it's all live drums, you know, it's live bass, it's live guitar, and then we layered it from there.
Yeah, so Rue, if you're watching, very, very good. I wanted to talk about yeah, man, shout out to you. I want to talk about the creative process though, as we come to an end, because it sounds very polished and it sounds kinetic. It sounds like you guys had chemistry. It doesn't sound like you were, even if you were, it doesn't sound like you were sending each other the tracks via email and being like, hey, now do your part. It sounds like you guys are in a room, in a session, in a studio together. What was that creative process like creating CRUD Life?
Sure.
With your other members.
The way that most of the tracks that we write work is that I'll be at home, I'll be right here, and either on the keys or with my guitar, I'll write something and I'll play it for a few months probably before I show it to the rest of the band, and then we play it in the room together, and then we probably play it because we tour all the time. Like in the UK, like you can play gigs constantly. Basically, I'm sure it's the same everywhere, but so we gig a lot. You know, we gig most weekends of the year, and so by the time we get to the studio, we've already played these songs, you know, 200 times together, and they've got to this point where we're like,
everything you're saying makes sense. Everything you're saying, you can hear it in the music. Like you used to sing in a reggae band. Like you guys are playing these songs over and over. Like the guys really mixing. Like there's no loops. Like it's live drums. Like everything you're saying, you can hear like the results in the music. So I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm glad, but well, no, thank you. You know, we're a team. We're a team, and we do things together. And I think that comes across as, like you say, you can hear it, and it's a good thing. And I think it was nice because the songs get to a certain point where they're kind of finished, and then we play them, and maybe they'll change slightly over the next year, but they're kind of there. And then you take it to the studio, and Rue is there, and he's like, cool, you guys have got this, but what you need to do is like maybe change that
Yeah.
around here and maybe like this, and we're like, oh
Nah.
yeah, we got too
I
focused on it
that
was.
that's
So
such a blessing. That's
mm,
such a blessing to have, like that camaraderie, that teamwork, and just
yeah,
have access to people who have that good ear, just like your other members. Man, that's such a blessing, man.
you need it, man. But yeah, that's the process. Really, it's a team effort for sure, and there's not too much of it that's done. You know, apart from right at the start, there's not too much of it that's done remotely. Like we do it all together.
Okay. And lastly, I just wanted to know your influences. Like, who are some of your influences? Because when I hear it, I hear like the Surf Experiment, with who's Chance the Rapper he rhymed with early on. I hear like a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit of Bad, Bad, Not Good. I don't know if you're familiar with BBNG,
yeah,
Kerrang's band.
hard,
I mentioned
hard.
that in the review. Who are
Yeah.
your influences?
Oh,
Like as an
gee.
MC and as a group.
Yeah, as a group, I think we can all get down on the Mouse Outfit. If you know those guys, like a Manchester hip hop group, they're
Mm,
amazing, like live hip hop stuff. They work with so many good MCs as well. Mouse Outfit are definitely worth checking out if you haven't already.
okay, I'm writing
Um,
that down.
yeah, do man. But also like Rage Against the Machine and like Idols and like heavier stuff that's coming out at the moment. Like we all get down on that as well. But personally, oh man, there's just so much. I mean, Tom Waits is like the biggest influence to me as a writer at the moment, and I don't think that comes across too much in the things I'm writing. But as a
Okay.
poet, like he speaks to me so much, and you know, I grew up on like listening to the Score and like Blunted on
Yeah, yeah,
Reality and
yeah,
Illmatic and all these like legend albums, man, and like some UK hip hop as well, like Jest and like oh man, there's just so much, you know, there's so much, but like reggae and jazz and hip hop and punk music as well, like that's all the stuff that gets me. So I think
yeah.
some of that comes across in the music.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rage Against the Machine. I heard a little bit of that. I can't remember the track, but there you had
Yeah,
a little section where you did a little screaming like Zach De La Roca. I love Rage. You know, I grew up on those
yeah,
Tony
yeah,
Hawk
yeah.
games.
Same.
They had
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, the entire game soundtrack. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
So when can we expect you guys' next project, or any solo projects from the individual members? Because I know you guys
Yeah.
had, or you all had previously, maybe 3-4 year gaps, 2-3 year gaps in between projects.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
can we
So
expect
I
next?
mean, so the reason there's the gaps between the albums is basically because we're unsigned and we're unmanaged, and you know it's us doing all the work, and we all
Mm-hmm.
work. Like I'm a carpenter outside of playing music. That's what I do, and so that's why things take a while. Like I have another album that's basically written, but who knows when we'll get, especially the way the world is right now, who knows when we'll get
Yeah.
around to polishing that and recording it. But like I was saying, our drummer Brain, he's got an EP that's coming out real soon.
Awesome.
Me and him just did a track with a guy called Dr. Syntax, who's like
Okay.
huge influence of ours from back in the day as well. So yeah, we've got some stuff coming out. Um, but at the moment, things are as slow as you expect them to be in 2021 for an unsigned band. But you know, we just keep plugging away, man, and keep doing what we do, and it'll take some time. But yeah, there's still loads of good music to come out of us, I think.
Yeah, and be sure to send me those tracks when they come out. When you guys drop new stuff, new solo stuff, be sure to send me those. You know, I'll definitely
Yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
my supporters on
For
alert.
sure, bro, for sure.
Yeah, but it's been great
Thanks, man. I
having you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, MC Binbag. Man,
Thanks
everything
so much
came
for
full circle. Everything you
yeah.
said makes sense in terms of how I hear it in the music. So I can't wait. Hopefully, it's not too much longer before your next project. I think this one's gonna give it a couple months. You know, just keep doing the marketing. You guys are you're gonna catch
I
fire.
hope
Like
so, man.
as someone who's seen many groups, like it's all there. All you just need is it's just one thing. It's not the music though.
We
You
need
know,
you, Troy. We need people to just like spread us around because at the
yeah,
moment
spread, yeah.
that's
So that's
you know, we're
man.
we're stuck in
And I
Bristol, in the
posted it
UK.
on my YouTube. It got a good amount of views, and this is going
Yeah,
to get some views. I'm sharing
I hope
it,
so.
so you guys will
Yeah.
catch fire. The music is already there. So thank you for your time, man.
Thanks so much, man. Real nice talking
All right.
to you.
Yeah, and we got to do this again also. This has been Binbag Wisdom, you guys. And this has been Top 5 Rap Website. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.